Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? Or does a name get stuck on the tip of your tongue, and no matter how hard you try you can't recall it? You are not alone. This happens to millions of people every single day. If these situations feel familiar, I want your full attention because what I'm about to share with you can give you back 20 years of mental clarity, and the best part, you don't need medications or expensive treatments. Just 1 minute of your day. I'm Dr. Carlos Rondon, a neurologist with more than 25 years treating patients who believed they were losing their memory for good. People who came to my office afraid, frustrated, convinced their forgetfulness was the beginning of inevitable decline. But what we discovered together was something completely different. I'm going to reveal a 60-second exercise that has transformed the lives of hundreds of my patients. It's an exercise you can do seated, at home, with no special equipment, built on a neurological foundation so strong that universities in Japan and Europe are already studying it. Before I show it to you, I need you to understand something essential. Losing your memory is not an unavoidable consequence of aging. That's what most people believe, but it's a dangerous lie. Because when we accept that lie, we resign ourselves to living in mental fog, believing there's nothing we can do. Here's the truth. I've seen people in their 90s with minds clearer than many 40-year-olds. The difference isn't genes and it isn't luck. It's how we stimulate the brain. For decades, physicians have watched small lapses pile up until they become roadblocks to daily life. But I've also seen that, with the right stimulation, the brain wakes up again. It's like flipping on a light in a dark room. In this video I'm going to show you how this exercise works, why 1 minute can change everything, and how you can start today to wake up those areas of your brain that have been dormant for years. And let me foreshadow something. This exercise doesn't just improve your memory. It also strengthens your balance, your mental clarity, and even your mood. That's why I recommend you stay until the end, because what you'll learn here could be the beginning of a radical change in your life. Ready to discover it? Let's begin. The myth about memory. Most people believe that losing memory is something natural, just part of aging, like gray hair or wrinkles. But let me tell you something very clear. That is not true. This myth, repeated generation after generation, has caused enormous harm. Why? Because when we think memory loss is inevitable, we stop fighting it. We resign ourselves. And that resignation accelerates decline. In my practice I've heard phrases like, "Doctor, I'm already 70, what do you expect? Forgetting is normal." And I always answer the same way, no, it is not normal. What happens in the mind with age is not an irreversible sentence. In most cases, it can be slowed down and even reversed. Think of it this way, if you stop moving your arm for several months, the muscles weaken, right? That doesn't mean your arm is permanently damaged, it's simply inactive. When you start exercising it again, little by little it regains strength. The brain works exactly the same way. The big mistake is believing that more crosswords, more reading, or more information is the solution. That helps, of course, but it is not enough. Because the brain doesn't just need data, it needs physical activation, neurological stimulation. Let me share something that shocks many of my patients. I've seen people in their 80s or 90s who keep an astonishing memory, much sharper than that of younger adults. Do you know the difference? They've kept their brains active in the right way. They didn't resign themselves. That's why I want you to erase from your mind the idea that forgetting is part of aging. That myth is like a silent trap that catches millions of people, stopping them from regaining the clarity they still could have. And the most dangerous thing is that this myth doesn't just affect those who believe it, but also their families. I've seen sons and granddaughters convinced that their father or grandmother is already losing their mind, when in reality the only thing missing is proper stimulation. That false belief makes many never seek solutions. In the next few minutes I'll show you evidence, real cases, and an exercise so simple you'll wonder why no one taught it to you before. A 1-minute exercise that wakes up dormant areas of your brain, like opening a window in a room that's been closed for years. So don't forget, age does not destroy your memory. What destroys your memory is the lack of proper stimulation. And that is exactly the path we are going to walk together. Real-life impactful cases. I want to share with you some real cases of patients who came to my office convinced they had lost the battle against time, and today enjoy a much clearer mind. A few months ago, I met Roberto, a 72-year-old man. He arrived with his wife because he no longer trusted himself to go out alone. He told me, "Doctor, I feel trapped. I walk without confidence, I forget even what I had for breakfast, and my family thinks I'm fading away." I showed him the same 60-second exercise that I'm going to teach you in this video, and he practiced it every day for 3 weeks. The result? His memory improved by 40%, he regained confidence in his walking, and most importantly, he actively rejoined family conversations. Another case was Carmen, 68. When she arrived, she looked at me with tired eyes and confessed with tears, "Doctor, I can't go on. My daughter thinks I'm losing my mind." We began the neurological exercise, and in just 2 weeks, her daughter called me crying with joy, "My mom is back. She's telling childhood stories I hadn't heard in years." That day I understood I wasn't only helping the patient, but also her entire family. I also remember Miguel, 75. He kept a diary where he wrote down every lapse, where he left his keys, his grandchildren's names, even birthdays. He was depressed, convinced his brain was broken. I explained it wasn't broken, just asleep. After a month of steady practice, he smiled at me and said, "Doctor, I feel like my head has lit up again. Now I can follow a conversation without getting lost." And I cannot forget Isabel, who lived with a constant sensation of a heavy head. She could barely move her neck and said she lived under a mental cloud. With this same exercise, she improved not only her memory but also her brain circulation. 2 weeks later she called me and said, "Doctor, it's like someone opened a window in my head." Finally, I want to tell you about Ramon, 78. He had stopped going out for walks because he felt clumsy, as if he had lost coordination. He tried this exercise for a month, and when he returned to my office, he greeted me with a smile. "Doctor, I went back to the park with my grandkids. Not only do I walk better, I also remember their names and the stories they tell me." That sparkle in his eyes was proof he had regained something priceless: confidence in himself. All these cases have something in common. People who were resigned, who thought it was too late but decided to try. And they discovered their brains still had so much to give. What I want you to understand is that it doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 80. It is always possible to wake up those dormant areas of the brain. These testimonies are proof that age is not the limit. The only limit is giving up. In a moment, I'll explain what happens inside the brain when we perform this 1-minute exercise. But first, I want you to lock in this idea: if they could regain mental clarity, you can too. Neurological explanation. Now I want you to understand what really happens in your brain when you perform this 1-minute exercise. It's not magic and it's not coincidence. It's neuroscience. With age, certain areas of the brain begin to switch off. They don't disappear, but they slow down. The hippocampus, responsible for memory, begins to weaken. The cerebellum, which regulates balance and coordination, loses connection with other areas. And circulation to the brain gradually decreases. Imagine your brain as a city full of streets and avenues. Over time, some of those streets gather dust, stop being used, and eventually become blocked. Messages that should flow freely get stuck. That's why lapses appear: clumsiness when walking or difficulty following long conversations. What this 60-second exercise does is clear those streets. By moving specific areas of your body, you activate nerves and receptors that send powerful signals to the brain. Those signals wake up dormant areas, restore blood and oxygen flow, and strengthen neural connections that seemed lost. For example, when you move your toes, you're not just moving muscles. You're directly stimulating the cerebellum, which not only controls balance but also plays a role in memory and concentration. When you work with the tongue, you activate regions tied to language and mental agility. And when you massage the ears, you awaken receptors connected to the brainstem, the area that regulates alertness and orientation. It's like turning on several lights in a dark house. Each movement illuminates a different room until the whole house is alive again. And the best part is that the brain is plastic, meaning it has the ability to regenerate and reconnect at any age. Whether you're 50, 70, or 90, your neurons can still form new connections. All they need is the right and consistent stimulus. In fact, Recent studies in universities in Japan and the United States have shown that this type of microneurological exercise can improve memory in as little as 3 weeks. And the most impressive thing is that the benefits are not limited to remembering better, but also to thinking more clearly, speaking more fluently, and feeling more mental energy. That's why this 1-minute exercise works. Because it's not designed to give you more information, but to reactivate the machinery you already have. And when that machinery turns on, memory, clarity, and confidence return. In the next part, I'll show you step by step what those exercises are and how you can start practicing them today. The 5 detailed exercises. Now we've reached the most anticipated part, the 60-second exercises that can bring life back to your memory. I'm going to teach you 5 very simple movements. You don't need any equipment, it doesn't matter your age or physical condition. The only thing you need is consistency. Exercise 1, the toes. This is the starting point because your feet are directly connected to the cerebellum, the area that regulates balance and also memory. Sit in a comfortable chair, place the soles of your feet firmly on the floor. Now lift the toes of both feet at the same time and hold them up for 5 seconds. Then lower them and press hard against the floor for another 5 seconds. After that, massage the floor with the tips of your toes for 10 seconds, as if you were drawing circles. Finally, open and close your toes for another 10 seconds. Repeat the whole sequence twice and you've completed 1 minute. Why does it work? Because moving the toes activates nerve endings that stimulate communication between the body and the cerebellum. It's like switching on a light that has been off for years. I remember Ramon, 75, who came staggering into my office. He didn't have weak muscles. It was his brain that had lost the connection with his legs. After 15 days of this exercise, he came back saying, "Doctor, now I walk with more firmness and feel my mind more awake." That mental clarity was the result of reactivating his cerebellum. Tip: do this exercise barefoot or with thin socks so you feel the contact with the floor better and get stronger stimulation. Exercise 2, the unlocked neck. Your neck is like a bridge between the body and the brain. If that bridge is stiff, blood doesn't flow properly upward and the brain receives less oxygen. Sit upright and relax your shoulders. Slowly turn your head to the right as far as feels comfortable, then return to the center. Do the same to the left. Next, look upward as if you wanted to see the sky and hold for a few seconds. Finally, lower your head gently, bringing your chin to your chest. This movement should last about 30 seconds. Repeat it twice and you've completed 1 minute. Why does it work? Because it releases tension in the cervical muscles, improving blood flow to the brain. A flexible neck is like a hose without bends. Blood circulates better and the mind clears. Isabel, 70, confessed she lived with the sensation of a heavy head. After 2 weeks of this exercise, she told me, "Doctor, it feels like a weight was lifted. Now I think more clearly and even speak more fluently." Tip: never force the movement. Softness is the key. If you feel pain, reduce the range. Exercise 3, the active tongue. This one is among the most surprising. The tongue is full of nerve endings connected to brain areas responsible for language, verbal memory, and mental agility. Stick out your tongue as far as you can and hold for a few seconds. Then move it to the right, then to the left. Now press it against the palate for a few seconds and relax. Finally, make circles with the tongue inside your mouth, first in one direction and then in the other. This takes about 30 seconds. Repeat it twice and you complete 1 minute. Why does it work? Because moving the tongue sends powerful signals to the brain regions that control speech and verbal memory. It's like waking up a muscle inside the mind. Carlos, 74, had lost confidence in speaking. He would stop mid-sentence because he couldn't remember the words. After 3 weeks of practicing this, he told me excitedly, "Doctor, yesterday I had a full conversation with my grandson. I remembered names and even told childhood stories." Tip: at first, do it in front of a mirror to control the movements and avoid unnecessary tension in the jaw. Exercise 4, the ear massage. The ears may seem simple, but inside them lies one of the most important systems for balance and alertness: the vestibular system. Stimulating it awakens brain reflexes that improve orientation and memory. Place your hands on your ears and gently pull them upward for a few seconds. Then outward, then downward. Finally, massage with circular movements as if drawing small circles around them. In less than a minute, you'll feel warmth in the area and greater mental clarity. Maria, 80, came to me with constant dizziness. Her family feared she would fall while walking. After 3 weeks of this massage, she walked into my office unaided, smiling. "Doctor, the dizziness is gone. Now I even go to the market by myself." Tip: breathe deeply while you do this exercise. The extra oxygen enhances the effect. Exercise 5. The integrated sequence. This is the most powerful of all, because it combines the 4 previous ones in a single routine of 1 minute. It's like conducting an orchestra. Each instrument contributes something, but together they create a symphony. Start by moving your toes up and down while slowly turning your neck from side to side. Then open and close your toes while moving your neck up and down. Next, stick out your tongue while gently pulling your ears upward. Then move your tongue from side to side while pulling your ears outward. Press your tongue against the palate while pulling your ears downward. And finally, rotate your tongue inside your mouth while massaging your ears in circles. Do all of this slowly without rushing. Just 1 minute, but with an integral effect. Carmen, 80, arrived with all the symptoms: forgetfulness, clumsiness when walking, stiff neck. She thought it was impossible. 3 weeks later she returned saying, "Doctor, yesterday I remembered the phone number of a friend from 20 years ago and called her. We talked for an hour. My daughter says I seem like a different person." Tip: pair the routine with deep breathing and, if you like, with your favorite music. That multiplies the results. I want you to remember this clearly: you don't need more than 1 minute a day. It doesn't matter if you do it in the morning, afternoon, or before bed. What matters is that you do it. Consistency is the key to waking up your brain. Make this minute a daily habit and you'll discover that memory, clarity, and vitality return little by little, like a plant blooming again. The 3 key secrets. You already know the 5 exercises that wake up your brain in just 1 minute. But now I want to reveal 3 very simple secrets that can multiply your results. They seem like small details, but they make an enormous difference. Secret 1. Hydrate before you start. 80% of our brain is made of water. If it's dehydrated, it works more slowly, like an engine trying to start dry. That's why the first secret is as simple as drinking a glass of water before doing the exercises. That small action improves circulation, oxygenates neurons, and helps the brain respond faster. Fernando, a 69-year-old patient, told me one day, "Doctor, ever since I drink water before the exercises, I feel like my mind switches on more quickly. It's like starting a car with a warm engine." And he was right. Hydration is like giving the brain fresh fuel. Another case was Marta, who often suffered from headaches. When she began hydrating before the exercises, not only did her memory improve, but those headaches disappeared. Her brain had been begging for water for years. Secret 2. Breathe deeply. The second secret is breathing. When you inhale slowly and deeply through your nose, then exhale gently through your mouth, your nervous system calms and at the same time more oxygen enters your brain. That extra oxygen acts like a natural spark that wakes up dormant areas. It also reduces anxiety and tension, allowing you to enjoy the exercise more. Luisa, 74, confessed, "At first I did the movements quickly as if I just wanted to finish, but I didn't feel anything. When I started breathing slowly, everything changed. Now it's my favorite moment of the day." Breathing is the bridge between body and mind, and when you use it in your favor, results come faster. Clinical studies have even shown that deep breathing increases brain plasticity, making it easier for neurons to form new connections. Secret 3. Do it with music. The third secret I discovered almost by accident. A patient, Esperanza, always did the exercises while listening to her favorite singer. One day she told me, "Doctor, when I put on music, everything flows better. I feel more motivated." And she was right. Music activates areas of the brain tied to motivation, pleasure, and memory. Combining it with the exercises not only stimulates more brain regions but also makes the routine more enjoyable. I've seen patients transform their mood thanks to this detail. Alejandro, for example, told me, "Doctor, now I look forward to my daily minute because I do it with the music I loved when I was young." That emotional connection kept him consistent. These three secrets, water, breathing, and music, may seem simple, but they turn an ordinary minute into an extraordinary one. Think of it this way: the exercises are the foundation, but these secrets are the extra push that accelerates your transformation. Try it today. Drink a glass of water, sit calmly, breathe deeply, put on your favorite music, and do the exercises. If you do it every day, in just a few weeks you'll feel your mind clearing, words flowing, and your memory shining again. Common mistakes to avoid. You already know the exercises and the secrets to boost them. But now I want to talk about something just as important: the most common mistakes that can make your results take longer to appear or even vanish completely. Mistake 1: doing the exercises too fast. Some people think the faster they do them, the better the results. But the opposite is true. The brain needs calm to process the signals. I remember Alejandro, 71. He told me, "Doctor, the first days I rushed through the movements to finish quickly, but I didn't feel anything. When I asked him to slow down, everything changed. Now I enjoy the moment and notice how my mind switches on." Tip: perform the exercises gently, as if you were enjoying a massage for your brain. Mistake 2: forcing until it hurts. Another mistake is thinking that forcing more will bring better results. Nothing could be further from the truth. These exercises should never cause pain. The goal is not to push your body but to gently stimulate neural connections. Louisa, 76, tried to stretch her neck to the maximum. She ended up with discomfort and thought the method didn't work. Once she understood it should be done without pain, results appeared. Tip: listen to your body. Softness is the key. Mistake 3: lack of consistency. This is, without doubt, the most common mistake. Doing the exercises one day and forgetting them the next won't work. The brain needs repetition to build new connections. Raphael explained it with a beautiful metaphor: "Doctor, it's like watering a plant. If you water it one day and then forget, it dries up. But if you give it water every day, little by little, it flourishes." The same happens with the brain. Tip: choose a fixed time of day, like when you wake up or before bed, and make it a habit. Mistake 4: thinking it's too late to start. Many believe that at a certain age, change is impossible. That idea is false and dangerous. The brain is plastic. It can regenerate at 50, 70, or even 90 years old. I've seen patients who, after decades of resignation, regained memory and mental energy with just 1 minute a day. Tip: never tell yourself, "It's too late." Every day you start is a day one. Avoiding these mistakes will make the difference between temporary results and lasting transformation. Remember: gentleness, calm, consistency, and confidence. If you take these words as your guide, you'll be on the right path to a clearer, stronger mind. I want you to imagine yourself 3 weeks from now. You wake up in the morning and notice your mind feels clearer. You easily remember your relatives' names, you can follow full conversations without losing track, and you even tell those anecdotes that used to slip away. Picture yourself walking with confidence, enjoying a family gathering, participating actively, feeling once again in control of your memory and your life. That is what just 1 minute a day can give you. I've seen patients come to my office full of fear, believing they had lost the battle against time. And weeks later, I saw them smile, regain confidence, and even make new plans. They didn't resign themselves. They chose to try, and they discovered the brain has an incredible ability to regenerate. One of them was Miguel, who kept a diary of all his forgetfulness. Today that same diary is filled with positive notes. Memories that returned, complete conversations, even the names of grandchildren he once forgot. He told me with tears in his eyes, "Doctor, I feel like I'm living again." So my question is, what will you decide? Will you keep accepting forgetfulness as if it were inevitable? Or will you take the first step that could change your life? Remember, you don't need expensive medications, special equipment, or hours of training. Just 1 minute a day. A single minute that can give you back years of clarity, energy, and joy. Every day you postpone this exercise is a day lost. But every day you practice it is a day gained. It's an investment in your future, in your independence, and in your well-being. Your brain hasn't given up. It's waiting. All it needs is for you to wake it up. So don't hesitate any longer. Start today. Do the exercises, follow the 3 secrets, and avoid the common mistakes. In no time you'll see the difference. And before I say goodbye, I have one important request. If this video inspired you, give it a like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't just help your own mind, but also help others discover that it's never too late to regain mental clarity. Thank you for your time and your trust. Always remember, your memory is worth it, your life is worth it, and you are worth it. And all you need is 60 seconds a day to start changing everything.